Alright, anime fans. This is Animaniatrix. I'm Alphatreyu here with
Oasis Gem.
Yes, and we just got finished watching the show Invincible. Now, this was, I guess it was an Amazon original. Debated for a while whether or not we actually wanted to review this show because didn't really know where this show came from. It was recommended. It was I didn't even know this show came out or anything around this show or involving this show up until people just started talking about it and recommending it. So I decided to watch it. Very reminiscent. I don't even know if this is like DC or Marvel who's behind this. So yeah, for America or where the show came from. So aside from all of that, but this show is very reminiscent of Marvel and DC. Typically, we talk about anime here, but nothing is out of question for us to talk about and give commentary on here. I personally am a Batman fan, so I do enjoy Marvel. I also do enjoy DC. Some of my favorite characters are Spider-Man and Wolverine over Marvel. Some of them in DC is Batman and Robin. So, and the Justice League and Young Justice, Teen Titans. So, this here is definitely in the same ballpark as those shows. And to be honest, from what I saw in the show, it almost seemed as if they were doing somewhat of a I don't want to say a spin-off, but kind of like introducing resembling characters from those classic shows, right?
I think so.
So, yeah, this show, going into it was kind of an enigma, especially, as we started. So, but we decided, hey, why not? We might as well talk about it, give our commentary on it. So, what did you think about the show Invincible, Oasis?
It kept my attention. I like how they gave each character a familiar power. Like you'll think of Batman, Superman, and all them other characters. I like how they
From the Justice League.
Okay.
Okay.
I like how they resembled other characters. It was fun it was fun saying this character is this one, or this character is Batman. This character reminds me of Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun going through all
What do they call themselves? The Guardians? I think that's what they went by. What are they called? The Guardians? See,
I think so.
we binged this thing, and that's the thing about this show. It's a pretty easy binge. Once we started watching it, we just basically watched all. Well, so far it looks like it's 8 episodes. We watched all 8 episodes in one sitting. So it's pretty easy to get through. Each episode was like an hour long. But because we got through it so quickly, that had something to do with why, we may not remember, the names of certain characters or, certain things, because we just kind of like sped through it, without really getting, much thought about it, especially because in this show, it was like a lot going on.
Definitely was a lot going on. But there's a lot in a good way going on. They had pretty good graphics. I like how they put gruesome graphics in there with the killing and the blood everywhere. I don't think you get to really see that in other
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, another show. That's another reason why I was kind of like, should we even talk about this? Because it seemed like one of those like it reminded me like Happy Tree Friends, or like one of those types of shows that's not really like uh mainstream media, so to speak, or like just kind of like what would you call that, like C-list type. I don't know, like this
Type
shows
visuals.
like where did this thing come from? It's like who, like, is this like just some two guys in their basement just made this type of thing? Like it's just like not like a big production type of thing, because it's like, you know, usually when you get stuff like that, that's kind of like very like underground type media. So it's like, okay, for my first vibe is like, the first vibe I'm getting is like, okay, Happy Tree Friends.
Justice League on another level.
Right. They expect, that's another thing. It was like, okay, it's just like Justice. It's like a knockoff, but not necessarily. So, you know, it was like they didn't spare any blood in this one. You know, almost every fight scene was filled with blood. It's splashing in the screen.
I guess people were asking, "Where's the blood at?" All this fighting in the other hero movies, shows. Everybody always fighting, but where's the blood? Where's the gruesome scenes at?
Right.
People just beating up people, and there's nothing.
Right. You almost tend to forget watching something like Justice League or Avengers that the blood is actually, you know, people actually bleed. You forget. You'll forget watching that. You know, by watching something like that people actually bleed. I think the most gory probably would be Mortal Kombat that I've seen. You know, when it comes to like something like this, or you know, in the realms of games. You know, even like you don't really get that even in the realm of games. What, like Street Fighter or Tekken or Dead or Alive? You don't really get this extent of gore. So it was kind of like, okay,
Definitely don't.
it's different, but it wasn't bad. It was very highly exaggerated, I think, in certain aspects. But hey, you know, look, I didn't mind it at all.
It kept my attention.
Right.
So, how about these relationships that they portrayed?
The relationships between.
They had interracial dating. They had male and male.
What's his name? The guy Invincible. Oh, interracial, LGBT. Yeah. So like this story. So yeah. Yeah. So this story is around you know, what's it? A kid. He's a product of an interracial relationship. His mom's seeming to be Asian. His dad is like from another planet. You know, kind of like reminiscent of the Superman backstory. Comes to Earth and you know, he has a child with this woman, and you know, he's a late bloomer to get his power, and so the whole show is basically him coming of age with these powers. And throughout the show, you know, we're introduced to all these different characters, and it's like very, I guess you could say modern, as far as like everything being like, I don't know, would that be politically correct? You know, he's dealing with this black girl, and you know, he himself, he's like Viltrumite, or from the world of Viltrum. He's dealing with this black girl. He's himself is like part Asian, part Viltrumite, and then he gets into a relationship with this black girl. His best friend is homosexual, and then the other girl, or his co-hero, or from the team, the other group team, I was questioning whether or not she was a real girl, because it was almost as if, because her costume had like the female symbol on it, but it was like a X. Yeah, okay, Adam Eve.
Adam Eve.
It was confusing. I was like, okay, is this implying that she's a transvestite, or because like her?
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, it could have.
Her symbol on her chest had the female symbol on there
With a slash.
but it had like a cross on it. So like.
Is that genderless?
Yeah, it crossed my mind, like, are you trying to denounce that you're a female, or are you trying to say that you're ambiguous or something? Like, like you said, genderless, or you're a transvestite or something. So I'm like, okay, there's that. So I said, okay, there's a lot of this going on. Then you got the scene where, her boyfriend, he's cheating on her with the triplets.
Duplicate.
Well, yeah, with the girl with the duplicate. So I was like, okay, there's a little bit of polyamory going on with this one, So there's,
you had to add that in there too.
There was a lot of interesting to see that they put some. Then the black girl, she's what he called her, a fourth wave feminist. I'm not even familiar of the different waves, or what each wave is, what was that supposed to mean? But the black girl, she was very like, I'll say this, they got the right, seemed like they got the right character to play that role, because she definitely matched her role. She was kind of annoying. I didn't know why he was so into this girl. She really didn't show me anything in my opinion. She really didn't do anything or come off in a certain way that even showed that he had interest in her to begin with. Like, that was just kind of like, for me, it was kind of random. She's getting picked on in the hallway, and he defends her, but it didn't come off as if he was defending her because he was in love with her or had a crush on her or anything like that. Because in a lot of shows, you tend to get, like, with a scene like that, the girl will, like, do something, or he'll, like, say something in his head, you'll read his thoughts or something. You'll get some type of signal that, okay, this guy has a crush on this girl. Right? It didn't show that. But it didn't show that. It was just like, he defended her because the guy was bothering her, and then, she threw him his event, fast forward, she throws him her number, and then now, next thing you know, they're in the bed kissing. It was like, okay, I guess you're into her, but that was kind of odd to me that, it was like, all right, what did this girl do to, for one, catch your attention, let alone hold your attention, because, like, the entire time, he's like, always late for dates, she says he's like standing her up. She's crying, hurt. Her feelings are hurt. For me, a chick like that is too sensitive. I'm a hero. I can't be attentive to you and also do my hero work. See, me, I would definitely be dealing with females if I had superpowers. However, he's taking on a commitment to try to be exclusive with this one girl and make her promises and, commitments and responsibilities, or obligation, become obligated to these things, and now he's in this drama of between having to choose between dealing with this girl and being a hero, and it was almost like she was like the start and end of his life, or his window to a normal life. So that was kind of like, okay, dude, life isn't just her, but it's almost as if because that was his girlfriend, they started to make it seem as though, like, because she's in his life, he's human. Like, that's what makes him connected to the world, the fact that he's dealing with this girl. But she herself didn't really do anything other than seem very she seemed very arrogant when it came to like him trying to deal with her. You know what I'm saying? You remember?
Yeah,
You remember? He called. What did he say? He called her up for a study date. She like psychoanalyzed his intentions. I'm like, yo, this chick. What is up with this chick? He's like, yeah. Can I? Would you like to study together, or can I? You know, or something because they're in the same class. Can we exchange notes or something? She's like, oh, you're. Well, yo, that quote. I forget what she says, but for those who've seen this thing, you know what I'm talking about. She's like, oh, you know, you're playing it safe, but yet you still have room to develop.
she planned it all out.
Like, yo, like to be, if I'm a dude, well, I am a dude, but if I'm trying to, you know, talk to this girl, and you know what I'm saying, like it's bad enough I'm the one, you know, taking the initiative to try to like, you know, make something happen. Clearly, you know, as a female, females really don't do that, you know, to like try to arrange anything. But if, you know, I'm taking that step, you know, just trying to think of something, don't try to psychoanalyze everything and try to make me, because that's just going to turn me all the way off. And I'm going to be like, you know what? I can see where this is going to go. I'm not going to say that out loud, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just be like, you know, I could tell what type of time you on. I think I'm, you know, never mind. You know what I'm saying? You have a good day. Like, I don't, like, what?
It seemed like she was the one chasing after him.
Well, she clearly liked him. You know?
She wanted to set all the rules and boundaries.
Because what she say when they were sitting on the bed, she was like, dang. She was like, oh, guys normally always stand up for her and, you know, fight for her, but rarely do guys ever get their ass whipped for her. Mm-hmm. So she wanted to see what he was about because no guys really do that for her. So she clearly was into him. She clearly tossed him the number. She clearly was like showing her interest. But it's almost like when he was like reciprocating that, she's like kind of like arrogant about it, like kind of like snooty, like, oh yeah, like. But to me, you know, before he even started talking to the girl, because once he started dealing with, what was her name, the Adam Eve girl, I thought it was going, he was going to end up going that direction, dealing with the girl Adam Eve.
I thought so too.
Because, you know, while he's at the school with her, he's like, you know, what'd he say? Like, basically what we were looking for with the spark that would have sparked things between him and the girl. What was her name? Amber? I have a feeling that's what was her name. The black girl.
Yeah, she's Amber.
Her name was Amber. Mm-hmm. Okay. With the girl Amber, what we were looking for, that kind of like that spark. He seemed like he got that more from the other girl when he first started talking to her.
Adam Eve.
Well, they first met on the battlefield, right? Mm-hmm. And he realized that he went to school with her. And then he started talking to her. That seemed like that had more potential to go somewhere. So I kind of feel like, or think, if this thing is to get a season 2 or a continue on, he's going to wind up with her.
It looks like it's going in that direction.
It seems like it. But, you know, this Amber girl, she's like reoccurring. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he's really digging this chick. So it's like, okay, maybe not, you know. Well, go ahead. Anything you want to add to that?
I didn't like her attitude the whole time.
Who, Amber or Eve?
Amber.
Amber.
Yeah, I didn't like the way she was treating Mark.
Yeah. It seemed like...
So why you gotta be so mean? Mm-hmm. It wasn't making no sense. And especially knowing in the first place that he's a superhero.
Well, that's what she says.
Apparently she knows.
Which was a surprise. It's like, who told you? She's like, oh, I'm not that stupid. I'll put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, then you should know what he's going through.
When he dropped that, I felt like that just highlighted how selfish she was. Because it was like, okay, he clearly can't come out and tell you. Y'all been dating for how long? A month? And she's like, oh, you can't trust me? He's like, I don't... Like, what man in their right mind who is supposed to be have a secret identity? Look, I've watched many comic book shows based off comics and many shows, you know, like anime and stuff where, well, mostly it's where secret identities mostly come in when you're dealing with comics from like Marvel and DC. And one of the reasons why you'll see that these superheroes always have a secret identity is not just just to be mysterious. It's because they want to protect those around them. Mm-hmm. If one of their rivals or enemies is to find out who their secret identity is, then they could potentially target the people closest to them instead of the him directly, and not just the people around him, but also his personal life. You know, heroes try to. If you read comics or watch, you know, Justice League and stuff like that, Marvel and DC, you'll see it's a double life for a reason. It's not just you know, you're in the loop or you're out the loop like some type of special club. No, you have a secret identity to protect your personal life. You don't want to be walking down the street and if somebody pulls up on you because while you're vulnerable, your guard is down, you know what I'm saying, and they pull up on you like, that's him right there. And you know what I'm saying, now you in a shitstorm because you know people know who you are, or your enemies know who who you are. Understandable. You know, we're talking about the person within question knowing the identity of the person, but even that is dicey because, you know, you start telling people who you are. The fact that even them knowing that information could potentially risk them getting into some drama. Just the fact that they know, especially if they're spending a lot of time, and you know this hero is being spied on or something. You know what I'm saying? If there's enemies spying on them, and then they see while even if, like, let's say the enemy does know his secret identity, because in some cases you do get enemies that do know the hero's identity. If they're stalking him and sees, okay, he's spending a lot of time with this girl, let's target her. Or they have suspicions, like they might suspect like he might be a hero, or you know, they'll go after him or track him, and then they'll start to target the people around him and ask them what they know and interrogate them, and then they'll 9 times out of 10 they'll crack because they're not the hero, and it's just stuff like that. So the fact she's like, oh, you don't trust me, I'm looking at it like, yo, he's been with you for like 3 weeks. What are you talking about? Does he trust you? It's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of being responsible. It'd be irresponsible of him to just be like, yeah, since we're dating now.
Too soon.
Yeah, since we're dating now, I'm invincible.
Right.
You know, but this dude, to be honest, I probably would have never told her. You know, but he clearly saw potential in this, talking about, you know, he's kissing her at the college, talking about, let's go to college together and stuff like that. So he's thinking about the future. Like, he really wants to settle down with this girl. He's really that into her. So it's like, okay, you're into her that much to where you're trying to plan a future together, go to college, graduate college together and all that stuff. So, okay, I can see why you would want to tell her who you really are, because you really want this to work. Immature move, in my opinion, because, you know, 9 times out of 10, your high school, stuff like that, isn't always going to work out, especially when you're dealing with a chick. If she's acting like this before you tell her, you already know that she's going to be the type of female that is going to be a problem after you tell her.
Yeah.
You're not really going to get, like, oh, I understand you're a hero, so I'm going to allow you to be a hero. Rookie move, rookie mistake. He's like, okay, well, maybe if I tell her that I'm a hero, she'll give me more, you know, she'll cut me some slack. She'll allow me to be late. That was he was shooting for.
Nope.
Nah, that's a rookie mistake, bro. If anything, once you tell her that you're a hero, now she's locked in. Now you got to hear that nagging constantly.
Right.
Now you always got to be, now because you told her, you kind of like close off your options from telling any other female, because now she's locked in. She knows that your secret identity. Now you feel obligated to stay with this girl, and now that you're staying with this girl, she's not going to be like, oh, yo, you're a hero, so he's going to be late because he's a hero. No, if you wanted a chick like that, you should have found a chick that didn't mind you being late before you told her that you were a hero. Somebody that seemed more comparable to you running late or canceling or certain things coming up, understanding that you have other responsibilities and giving you that freedom to do whatever you needed to do. See, that's why I put myself in his shoes. I'm like, if I'm a superhero, I need a female that's going to be I need a girl that's going to be like forgiving of those types of things. There when I call her, but understand that, you know, whether she believes my excuses or not, if I'm telling her that I got other stuff that I got going on, other things to do, you know, she'll allow me to do that, and that would be the chick that I pick. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, she's
supportive chick.
You know, yeah, a chick that's kind of like cool about it. I was like, okay, you know, go ahead, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I'll be here when you get back, type thing. But she waited in his room for like an hour and was tripping. It's like he went clear across the country, saved Mount Rushmore or whatever that place was. What was that? The mountains with all the presidents. Some episode down there. He comes back
Washington, D.C.
within an hour, and she's like, "You left me in here for an hour. I should have left. You were only in here for an hour. Why would you leave?" See, and maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe, you know, I'm crazy for thinking this way. But if it's my first time with a female, or me and the female, first time linking up, and she's like, "Oh snap! I got somewhere to go. I got somewhere to be. I forgot. I promised such and such to somebody, and I'm gonna go run and go handle that real quick. I'll be back." And let's say it's 4:00 in the afternoon or whatever, and she leaves at 3 or 4:00 in the afternoon, leaves me in her room by myself for an hour. You really think I'm going to be tripping about? She took an hour. She left me at 4 and came back at 5 and left me in her room for an hour. No, I'm not going to trip. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's acceptable. I'm not saying that. However, she only left you in there for an hour. She ran an errand real fast, or he ran an errand real fast. He came back. This is your first time in this person's room. Now, me, I'm not saying I'm a snoop or anything. I'm not saying I'll go through her shit anything, but just even that, like, just somebody you're feeling for the first time. Like, imagine this. You know, you like this guy. You like a guy. He invites you over. You like, you know, you're in his room. This is the first time you're ever in his room, and he's like, "I'll be back." And he leaves you in his room. Are you going to, all right, an hour for an hour, are you going to trip, or are you just going to enjoy the fact that you're in this guy's room? For me, maybe it's just a guy thing. I'm just chilling in the room. All right, you know, I'll enjoy being in your room, especially because it's like an extension of trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going to let anybody in my room. I'm not going to let anybody in my room and let them sit in my room for an hour while I'm vacated the premises. It's not happening. But if I extended that trust to somebody, or even if somebody extended that trust to me, that's a big deal to me. So I'm like, okay, you know, yeah, all right, shit, an hour, that's all it's going to take? Cool. I'll be here when you get back. She was ready to break up with the guy before it even started.
I think it would have been nice to be in a room.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, other people probably feel disrespected. Understandable, but I don't know.
I'd been tempted to look around, snoop around a bit. I would have been tempted.
Right. She was kind of high-strung for me. It's like, relax. Like,
just to see, like, what else he's into and what kind of stuff he reads or looks at.
Right.
I would have been a little nosy to see them things.
Right. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think if I was dealing with a person we're supposed to be dating or something, I understand. You know, he's not showing up, he's late or whatever. But I don't know if it's just because how it was being shown, like, you know, like clip for clip, because I remember there was a part where she was like, oh, it's been 3 months and he's been, you know, he's been flaking all this time. And for us, we didn't see 3 months of him flaking. We just saw a couple times where he was late. It didn't show him just standing her up or anything. So understandably, maybe that the way that it was being shown, it came off as she was being demanding, very demanding. It came off that way, but from her perspective, if it really was every time they tried to plan something and he always flaked, then yes, you know, she has every reason, I think, to, you know, feel like, yeah, this isn't working out. What's the point in dealing with a guy who can never be around, who can never give me the attention that I'm looking for? You're supposed to be my dude. Well, and then that's, like I said, you know, if she's doing this before you confirm that you're a superhero or not, she's going to do that after.
Yeah.
Right? And which brings me to my other point about his mother. Now, you remember the part where his mother started to suspect Mr. What's his name?
Nolan?
Nolan. That's his real name. What's his superhero name?
Oh, God.
I don't know this guy's superhero name. Dang, it'll probably come back to me. But anyway, Nolan, his father, Mark's father, or Invincible's father. She started to suspect him. And my first thought was, okay, even if you suspect that your man killed those Guardians, they're called the Guardians, right? Basically, the dang Justice League of the show. even if you suspected him as his wife, whose side are you on? That was my way of thinking about it. I'm like, you're supposed to be his wife. Why are you worried about if he killed them? What do you want to break up with him? Like, if your plan is to break up with him, if he did that, all right, cool, understandable. You know what I'm saying? You want to find a reason not to deal with this man anymore. You know, they got the devil character comes in. He, you know, throws gas on the fire, tries to raise suspicion. He's like, yeah, you know, he's the only survivor.
He wasn't helping.
He's the only survivor. Killed 7 dead, 1 alive. He's the only survivor. So I'm like, okay, now she's freaking out, suspicious of him. But the thing is, it's like, all right, what are you willing to do with that information? Once you find out, yes or no, for a fact, what are you going to do? And it's like as she was, you know, what was she doing? She's sending them around the world to go pick up groceries and stuff so she could snoop and try to figure out if he had something to do with their killing. Like, she's going through all of this, and as soon as she's doing, my initial thoughts like, what are you going to do with that information when you get it? And then fast forward, she could by the end of the series, she's like, oh, now that I know, I never thought about what I would do with this information. I'm like, yeah, what was the plan? What was the point of confirming that? You're his wife. You know what I'm saying? You're his wife, you know, and granted, you know what I'm saying, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be worried about, you know, for her own safety, you know, worry about whether or not her man is a killer or whatever like that. I'm just looking at it from a perspective. It's like, what if he's acting towards you kind of like nothing is wrong as far in the home. He's still being a husband to you. He's still treating you the same way. Really, the question isn't whether or not he killed them or whether or not you trust him because of that. The question is, are you willing to divorce him because he did it? That's how I'm thinking about it. I was like, well, if you don't want to divorce him, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that information? So I say that to say, if she's the type of female that's like that, like females typically want to go after the type of woman that you, the type of woman that you need before you get settled with her, right? He obviously, because he got into an argument about her wanting to be a real estate agent or wanting to work and stuff. It's like, dude, if you didn't want a female that worked on her own, you should have got that before.
That's what you should have chosen the first.
Yeah, you should have went after a female that didn't want to work, or a female that wanted to be exactly what you wanted her to be before you committed to her. And that goes back to this Amber situation. It's like, if you want a female that's going to be okay with you being a hero, then you go after the female that's going to be more cool about that. Same thing with his father. If you want a female that's going to be not all snooping around in your business, still supportive and still in allegiance to trust everything you do, you go after that type of woman before you marry her, right? So
that would have been the smart thing to do.
You have anything to add to that one?
I think it would have been a smart thing to do instead of just wanting her to be like that after you're already with her. It's going to make everything more confusing, more problems. So about Mark's friend. I want to ask you, what do you think? Do you think he should have said? Do you think he should have helped Amber or helped his friend?
You're talking about when his friend was at the college and they was like FaceTiming, and then his Amber went to the party. Okay, so this scene, the scene where Amber goes to the party. It's coming back to me. Amber goes to the party. The friend, he's on the phone with the so-called alpha male, and the phone gets he gets cut off of the FaceTime, right? And gets okay, and the friend's asking. The friend just found out his friend Mark is invincible. Okay, yeah, he just finds out Mark is invincible, and the alpha male guy, he gets snatched up on the FaceTime call, and he's asking Mark for help, but Mark is like, he wants to chase after Amber. Okay, all right, got it. If I was Mark, you're asking me if I was Mark, would I had gone after Amber at that party, or if I would have investigated what would have went on with my friend?
Would you have chose your girlfriend or a friend? Best friend.
That's a funny question. I don't see myself chasing after Amber. So maybe I'm a little bit biased at that question because considering the circumstances, I just think differently. If the problem in the relationship is coming from something that is not really something that you can compromise. The issue is something where it's like, I'm a hero. What do I put first? Am I going to put first that I'm a hero, or am I going to put Amber first? I'm biased against Amber because her issue is the fact that I have a responsibility elsewhere, and so because that's her issue, I just see that this is going to be a big issue in our relationship moving forward. There really isn't a future with a female who's going to act as though I need to put her as the same priority as saving lives. Because even she said that she suspected that he was always a hero, or whatever she said, which also didn't make sense once it came down to that point where she clearly saw that he was fighting that robot thing on the campus.
Yeah, that part didn't make sense to me either.
She saw him fighting it, but then said she cussed him out and then ran off.
Where did you go?
Where did you go?
There.
You weren't there, but yet
you know he's a superhero.
You know that was him. This girl was, I don't know, she just sounded thrown off to me. It's
that
like,
was so dumb.
What are you talking about?
Was that before you noticed, or?
Right. Right. That's exactly what I would have said that's exactly what I would have said when he finally did admit that he is invincible to her, and she just acting like she already knew. I'd be like, was this before the campus or
Right.
after the campus? Because you definitely did show your ass when you clearly saw that I was here struggling, getting drowned by this robot at the fountain on the campus. So was that before? Did you know before then or after? Because it's like no matter what I do, it's an issue.
Right.
Back to your question, right? So because her issue is more so like, okay, the fact that you're always disappearing, you know, and you're trying to put one thing over her, I would have just seen myself moving on, to be honest. Oh, man.